right, so now we are on the portion of the project where we're laying pavers and we're putting down stone. This is where we put down all the materials that the homeowner has picked out and chosen, whether it's the pavers or the border or the tops of the walls. You know, this is all the finished material. But keep in mind, this is a lot more than just grabbing pavers and laying them down. And maybe for the first few hours or the first day, depending on the size of the project, it might look like that's all it takes. But in actuality, if you ever sat out and watched a hardscape project be installed, you'd notice how many different cuts and measurements and even recutting materials to make sure everything fits exactly like it should. This is why this portion doesn't take 30 minutes or 2 hours on a long project. To make things line up just right and to make all the edges come together just right, there's a lot of cuts. There's a lot of measuring twice and cutting once, right? Because we also, at this point, we have to think about what is going underneath, right? So we have to watch out for wires, right, for any of the lighting. We have to watch out for any grooves that we have cut in any sub base. And unlike when you are putting together a puzzle, with a puzzle, the further you get along, kind of the easier it gets, right? There's nothing like putting in the last 10 or 20 pieces of a puzzle. Actually, when you're laying pavers, the last few pieces sometimes are the hardest part because you're laying a lot of the interior field of a paver patio and things just go down. But as you're getting to the edges, you're really cutting and making those fine-tuned pieces fit exactly right and make it look like it was perfect the entire way. And sometimes, depending on what the customer chooses, you can also be creative. You can have inlays in it, you can have multiple borders. There's all kinds of things you can do with pavers. That's the nice part about them, is the design options are kind of endless. Again, when you're thinking about the project and the overall price, keep in mind, every time that we do a particular border or a really cool inlay, that takes time, it takes man hours, it takes more materials because there's typically more waste. But at the end of it, it sure does make the project really pop and really look good. This is also the part of the project where the homeowner finally starts to see the materials and the overall scheme and the overall look of the project start to pop. They picked out these materials, could have been weeks ago, sometimes could have been months ago. And a lot of times they forget even what it looked like, but now when we start laying it, they start going, oh yeah, I remember picking out this border. I remember picking out this inlay. I remember picking out this paver. Now, once all of the pavers are down and all the borders have been cut and everything comes together, right? And it is like putting together that final few pieces of a puzzle. That's when you actually get to step back and take a look at it, and that's when everything comes together and really starts to pop. You know, when the step treads are on and the tops of the walls are in and the stone veneer on the wall are in and the pavers and the borders and the inlays, they're all there. Now that's when it all looks like it has been there for years and it fits exactly like it should. Now, the next thing that we're going to get into are the fireplaces and fire pits. So be sure to check out that video.